business and personal development, as well as some surprise celebrities, all sharing their insight, tips, and tricks to finding true happiness. Now, here's your host, Forbes Riley.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Forbes Factor, another edition of my amazing favorite show, my favorite hour of the week. I invite my friends to come on and chat. We've got guys and girls from all over the globe. I'm actually welcoming in Andrew at the moment, all the way from London. Just got off the phone with him. He was gracious enough. He and I have a new book out. Last week, you joined me from the ice hockey rink, and did we have a blast? Oh my gosh, we were 5 stories up over the rink for the Synapse convention, which happens in Tampa every year, and it is innovative, groundbreaking companies and thought leaders. And at one point, my daughter got to fly a drone with her brain. She literally sat there and thought and watched it fly. Yeah, times are exciting and changing. For me, the latest, what's going on here? Thank you for all the well wishes for my beautiful love of my life, my fiance Joshua. He was hit by he was on a motorcycle accident about 6 weeks ago. Got to tell you, I'm going to have to write the book, The 10 Lessons I've Learned Post-Accident. Yeah, how to deal with depression, how to deal with your world shattering, how to deal with your impression of who you are. You know, this is a very interesting thing for us, but a lot of us define who we are by what we do. I'm guilty of that. Some of my guests may be guilty of that too. I'll find out which ones in a minute. But the universe has a very interesting way of shining a light when you need it most. And one reason that you're here is that I tend to be that for so many people. I just got literally 5 messages or so this week from speeches I've given, some dating back 8 years. This was my favorite. And I love when you guys send me stuff. Forbes Riley at Gmail is my email. And you can find me on social media at Forbes Riley. This woman writes that she's listening to a podcast I did 8 years ago. She's in another country. And by the way, I don't mind shouting him out. It was John Lee Dumas. I did this when he first launched his podcast. He has a thing called Entrepreneur on Fire. I gave I think I was episode number 8. And she said, you are still inspiring people that you've never met 8 years later. Love that. I'm going to give a big shout out to the LEAP Foundation and Dr. Bill Dorfman out there in Beverly Hills, California. He's the superstar dentist. He was on Extreme Makeover. And every year, this man who's got a huge heart of gold hosts about 2,000 high school students from around the globe, half pay, half are on scholarships. And I've been a guest speaker consecutively for the last couple of years, along with Mark Wahlberg, 50 Cent, Paula Abdul, Academy Award-winning actress. I can't remember her name right now. Unbelievable people. And 2 of our students wrote me just yesterday on Instagram and said, hey, just thinking about you, you inspired me. And this happened over the summer. And then one of my guests today, you'll hear from Andrew Priestley. He and his son, I actually did one of my first speeches back in 2008, and they were part of that. So everybody, welcome to Forbes Factor. I do want to say I've got a new free gift for you guys. I have to figure out where you go to get this. This is what it is if you guys are on YouTube and following along. I wrote a really fun book based on my teachings called the Forbes Factor Handbook, 5 strategies to level up your game. Guys, I live at a very exciting level. And there's things that I do routinely that I've also interviewed many millionaires and a couple of billionaires that they also do that other people don't seem to do. And these things are free. It's just when you tweak your mindset and you focus on different things. I often say, you walk into a dark room and you have one flashlight. You can shine it to the left and there's dog poop and you think, ooh, this is a smelly, icky room. You can take that same flashlight, shine it over there. There's a pile of gold and go, wow, this is an amazing, beautiful, fun room. You get to shine your flashlight wherever you choose to. And what you focus on will expand. I promise you that. So if it's negative, man, you're going down a rabbit hole. If it's positive, you're on my ship. You tune in every week. Because motivation is a lot like food. You need a little bit of the really good stuff every day to stay good, right? All right, with that, let me introduce some fun people. To start with, I've got Miss Holly Flick. Holly is she's an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. She's a coach. She's a shining light in my life. Whenever she pops into my feed, my text, my radio show, I smile. So Holly, with a warm welcome, tell everybody about you and what you're up to.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. You make me smile every day. I love your face. I'm a marketing consultant. I work with businesses to help them bring their marketing online. It's a brave new world and new media, and there's a lot to navigate, but it can actually be pretty simple if we keep it that way. There's a lot of opportunity. So that's what I do. I get to work with some amazing entrepreneurs to try to help them understand the new media platforms and how to use all the snap face chat tweeters out there and make it all make sense.
So I grilled Holly before the show because you guys know me. The reason you tune in is I don't want 30,000 foot. When I asked her, what would you tell an entrepreneur? She's like, oh, you have to have confidence. You have to have, I'm like, no. I want you to drill down. My team here wants actionable things that they can only get from my world. Yep. So Miss Holly, to all my entrepreneurs, all my dreamers out there, the internet is an amazing and ever-changing place to be. But if you can nail down some of the tips that she's going to share with us, you can level up your income, your exposure, your credibility. Miss Holly, go.
Right.
What would you recommend?
The first thing I recommend to people who either aren't familiar or haven't been using digital marketing is just to think about it like walking in the mall. You walk down the mall and you have a new store in the mall and you want people to come into your store. There are lots of ways to do that. You can stand outside your store with a megaphone, scream your head off and tell people you have sales. You can put banners up, tell people, come on in. This is very exciting. But the best way to do it using social media would be just to walk around the halls and have conversations with people. Walk into the golf store, even though your store is, the cell phone store. Walk into the golf store and look for people who look like people who would buy your cell phones. And this is the 3,000 foot, 30,000 foot level, and I'm going to bring it down here. But we think about social like its name. Have a social conversation with people. Wouldn't walk into the golf store wearing our shirt and wearing a sign and being like, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? Hey, do you want to buy my stuff? It'd turn people off. They'd turn around. So we're going to do this super simply. And we're going to say, practically go on Facebook. There's a massive amount, like 2-point-something odd billion people on Facebook. So the likelihood of your avatar being on Facebook is pretty high. Go hang out on Facebook, pick 5 things. One of them being something you can sell. Everything else is something that you're interested in, something that makes you interesting. Maybe it's where you live. I live in the apple capital of the world. There are more apples produced where I live than anywhere in the world. So I talk about that. That's
not the Big Apple, which is kind of ironic.
It's not. It's actually the exact opposite side of the country. It's in Washington State. But I talk about that a lot because it's interesting. It helps people to like me.
Well, when you talk about apples, I find them quite appealing.
Well, so you're hungry? Oh, good for you. I didn't catch it. It is.
Oh, trust me, I am funny to the core. I'm doing that for just stop.
You're so, oh my goodness gracious, too. That was so.
You never know that I got paid to be a stand-up comedian, and I did for quite a minute. Yeah, and now I just do puns because it makes me laugh.
Because I think I'm funny. I love it. I think you're funny too. I didn't catch it. I'm not quick enough this morning. I need some coffee.
Sad. Andrew. Oh, that's not fair, Andrew. If you don't make noise, actually YouTube you won't get to see that. Andrew just held a sign that said sad.
So Andrew just put up a sign that said.
He just outed us. I have to introduce him, by the way, because he's from England, so they have a very twisted sense of humor just by nature of who they are, and I love him. Hey, real quick, to Holly's point. This is the thing that I did wrong, and I'm going to share this with you. I didn't grow up with social media. If you grew up with a phone attached to the wall, Andrew, you know what I'm talking about. We have a different perception of the world. Now, I've been on infomercials. I've done 180 of them, and I've grossed $2.5 billion. But a lot of them sounded like this. Hey, here's my product. Buy my product. Hey, want more than one of my products? And we never had to talk to the customer. But if you're listening to me, that's what Radio Shack and Sears and several other stores didn't get fast enough. You don't want to make a sale because that's just a sale. If somebody pays you cash for something and leaves, you really can't help them. They don't become a customer. And that's why all of a sudden this email list and understanding how to say hi on your birthdays. I am guilty of, now this is not that I don't love on people, but it's guilty that I'm an extroverted introvert who doesn't really like small talk. So while I appreciate Holly's apples, I actually really don't. And so for me personally, I see a lot of chatter of people pretending to talk and say these nice things. I would much rather know that you really want to involve me in your program. And then I can decide yes or no. But that's just me. And I will tell you that I've had to talk to a lot of people over 50 who don't really get the social world. People nowadays do like to feel like they know you, do like to feel that you're interested in them. And you actually have to be if you want to thrive. So Holly, I love that. And I'm going to show something to my audience, I think on YouTube. This is a note. This is what Holly wrote on Instagram. She had the time, and I guess she uses 2 thumbs. She wrote the most beautiful note and made a post on her social media about what she's doing. So often people say to me, I don't know what to talk about. Talk about the obvious. Talk about what you're listening to, what you like, what you want to comment on. But so that was the first one, Holly. So when you're talking about your product and apples, what are the other 3 things you focus on? Oh, I lost your, no, hang on. No hearing.
Nope, that's my bad. I was muted. I talk about my family because I have 4 kids and we have a kiddo with special needs who has a pretty catastrophic medical condition. And so we talk about that because a lot of my audience is either in the same boat or they're mompreneurs, they're women who are working at home. They want to see that even with life circumstances not being ideal or perfect, that we can do things, we can have a life that's fulfilling, we can love what we're doing and love our kids at the same time, which is kind of cool. So I talk about that. I talk about marketing, but I only talk about it in a way that it is educational, right? So when I talk about marketing, I talk about my unique, I think the number 1 job for any of us as entrepreneurs, and then I'm gonna leak this one out. This is my phone cover, is to think original thoughts. And you do this really, really well. You're always, when you communicate, whether it's sales or not, you communicate original thought. And that is key. You're not drowned out by the rest of the world or repeating what everybody else says. So I'm talking about marketing, but I'm making sure that I'm coming from a place of originality, right? Because then people can trust that I actually know what I'm talking about.
I love that.
Right. So my kids, where I live.
And how, by the way, how old are your kids?
Right. I have 4. So 13, 11, 8, and 7.
I don't understand. I have 2, one set of twins who are now 17. I actually would really like, you know how they do now on YouTube, a day in the life or what you eat in a day. I'd like to see a day in the life of you, because 4 kids is it's a lot. It's a lot of personalities, it's a lot of needs. And I'm really, you ought to consider that. And a kid with special needs. I've got a fiance right now who's in a wheelchair, and it takes everything I can. And he's pretty okay, except for a shattered foot. But my hat's off to you. What time management wise, do you just excel at that?
No, I'm actually the opposite. So I actually excel with flexibility. I'm the extreme extrovert that's just, if everything's the same all the time, it's a struggle for me. I have routines and that helps me stay on top, but I also have amazing people around me. I have a team that's there. My assistant's right here with me all the time. Like, I have an amazing husband who's just on top of it. It's systems actually more than it's a schedule for me. If I have systems that run things regularly for me.
You know what, guys? I'm actually, Holly, are you available to meet us on Thursday night this week for my Forbes Map? Okay, let me put this out to all of you. And I just started this last week. It was wildly popular. www.forbesmastermind.com. It was a lot of the peeps from that I've Forbes Factored over the years. They all brought somebody. Here's an incentive. I give away $100 gift card, a hotel gift card at the end for one lucky winner. Last time I gave away 2. Sometimes I give away a trip to Cancun. I don't promise all those things, but I have all those things. If you inspire me, at least somebody, so come just get something. But Holly, I would love to deep dive a little bit more into that, because finding busy, working, successful moms, I talk all the time about finding a role model, and everyone's like, Oprah. And I'm like, Oprah doesn't have children. Ellen doesn't have children. And when your mind is always split a little bit, I'd like to know some of those systems. Now, before we leave, though, for our first break, which is coming up in about 4 minutes, let's all say hello to someone across the pond. Welcome, Mr. Andrew Priestley. Andrew, yay! Come on, unmic.
There we go. This is scary stuff, because I've heard of Holly Flick. And I've heard of Forbes Riley, and I'm sort of feeling like really vulnerable at the moment, because she's sort of like a legend. Wherever I go, it's Holly Flick and it's Forbes Riley, and I'm sort of going, oh my God, how do you follow that? Like, how do you follow and act like Holly Flick? Right?
Well, I will tell you what you do, my love. You raise up our book that you and I are in, and you talk a little bit about your business ventures and how amazing you are.
Well, yeah. Just quickly, can you see that? Okay.
We can. Don't move too much, because I want to see that third line down says forward Forbes Riley. Wow.
We're there, forward. There it is. Look at that. Look at that.
And right under Amazon International Bestseller.
Yep.
So
yep. And look.
Oh,
Smack bang in the center. Look.
Kind of like Hollywood Squares. The crazy
Hi,
woman
I'm
that-
Forbes. I can change your life.
Well, speaking of someone's life,
I got the speaking edition.
the spinning, everything in my world spins. Yes, yes, everything in my world just spins.
I got the spin version. Yeah.
All right. So, Andrew, very quickly, I have 3 minutes to my first break. Will you share everybody just a little bit about who you are and how we know each other?
Sure. So I'm a business coach, specialize in leadership. I work with established SMEs worldwide, take their game up a notch or 40. And a big part of that is a lot of them don't know how to turn on the money tap. They don't know how to make the sales thing. And so I'm talking to a whole bunch of salespeople, and it turned out that there's a whole lot of great people who are really, really successful at, who don't have a book, who don't have a voice. So I said, why don't I just talk to people who I love and respect, who really know what they're doing. It does what it says on the tin. They actually know how to get results and turn the money tap on without all the hype and the rubbish. And look, why do you think I got Forbes to do the forward here, right? Not because she's just a pretty face, yeah? Right. So, but
Say that about Tony Robbins. That is sexist, but I love you so much for what you just said.
Oh, Tony Robbins. Don't talk about Tony. God. So anyway, here's the point. I want to make, right? We made it really sharp for people. We said you've got to do this in 1,500 words or less. That was about it. So what ended up happening was people got really, really sharp and concise. You can read a chapter while you're having a coffee. Look at my lovely mug here. Look at that. You can do that. And it's really, I love it because it's authentic. Your chapter is just amazing. Like, it's smart money. And, there's a lot of books out there that are just, you read it and you go, you lose the will to live. And in this case, no, you go, wow, this is brilliant. And this is people who are heavy hitters doing it, quiet achievers all over the planet who just know how to turn the money tap on. So that's that. And we're up to look. We did book number 1.
Wait, hang on. Hey. Put down
book number 2.
Because we don't want to. And everyone, you can get it on Amazon. I've got to jump off to a quick commercial break. If you're following us along on YouTube, it is my YouTube channel, just Forbes Riley. Yeah. We are live, so you'll see behind the scenes of that. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
With Holly, with the amazing Holly Flick too.
Oh, Andrew, you're too fun.
Holly Flick, you didn't tell me Holly Flick was going to be on here.
You don't know my name.
Man, Holly Flick, you're like just a monster. You're like
hang on. We are all clear. Okay, just checking. I guess you've run away with
Hi,
the
Holly.
show.
You're amazing.
So, Holly, I'm typing your name in Instagram and it came out. It autocorrected.
Hello, Holly Flick.
Well, it actually autocorrected.
Is that a product placement you're doing there, Holly?
It took out the L and the I and thought I wanted to say something else. Oh my goodness.
There are people who yell that across the room at me.
Holly Flick.
What's that?
Holy something.
Oh,
are we
so
live?
funny.
We're totally live on YouTube, aren't we?
Oh, I see.
We are live on YouTube, which is the first time I've ever done that. And there we are. I think it's actually kind of fun. Look at that.
Oh,
We're streaming live. I'm the only one watching. We get much more viewership when we do Facebook. I will get my Facebook back. You know what's so funny?
We can use, have you ever heard of Live Pigeon? There's a
Live
plug.
Pigeon, no.
I have zero affiliate relationship, although now I should, huh? Live Pigeon is actually a tool you can use to take a video that you create like this or something, and then you put it into Live Pigeon and it makes it live on Facebook. Like it looks like a real live video happening called Live Pigeon. I think it's livepigeon.com.
Right,
but
we'll take a look at Live Pigeon. You know what I find so bizarre is that every once in a while on Facebook, because I use a lot of different tablets and phones and things, it always asks me to sign in or identify my friends. Somehow when your account's been hacked, it doesn't ask you all those things that I could do. It just asks me for my email. Well, they stole my email. And I'm sitting here going, that's the only thing that identifies me?
No way.
It's been challenging. So Andrew and I have known each other for more than a decade. He is a master business influencer, he and his son. Their first book was a little bit of a Bible here in the US when we first started doing KPI, Key Person of Influence. And so
I need to chat with you.
Yeah, he's a wonderful connection and a great guy. And I thought you guys would like each other.
Absolutely. Back in 1 minute. Yeah, we'll chat some more.
Are we still on a commercial break?
Yes, we are.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Although
I like your stuff, Holly, by the way.
30 seconds till I send you the rejoin sound.
How do you know Holly's stuff?
Because how do you know Holly's stuff? Goodness me.
I'm loud. Am I so loud that it's gotten across the pond then?
Because she's selling something. She's selling something interesting. She talks about her family and her kids. She talks about marketing, educational. What was the fifth one?
Apples.
What's that?
Apples.
That was another one, right? Where I live and apples.
Oh, you were apples.
No, it's right now I have
the
two.
Voice America Influencers Channel. Be inspired.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
All right, you guys, I'm hanging out with two of my energetic guests. I've got a couple more people showing up. I love the panel format. I love that we can interact. And we're also live on YouTube under my name. The show, I just should say real quickly, is brought to you by one of my sponsors is Spin Gym. So if you want to understand how to sit at your desk, to sit on a Zoom call, to be on a car line and get fit, I highly recommend you go to myspingymfitness.com. I've got some free gifts there. I love giving away free gifts. And I love my Spin Gym. I actually found it over in the UK a decade and a half ago, and I've been committed to it ever since. And as I'm having a birthday coming up, it's coming up a big one. I will tell you, my body, my arms, and my health, I owe a lot of it to Spin Gym. In fact, I can double my heart rate just sitting at my desk. And then the second one, which I just love, is the idea that you never, ever, 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 ever have to go on a diet, because I changed the word diet. It says DIET, decisions I eat today. You can eat whatever you want on my program. Doesn't matter what you eat. Mary just reported last week, Mary Colazzo, she is now 168 pounds lighter thanks to my program. Stacy Saints has lost 100 pounds. Trust me, you get the 100-pound mark and you become my hero for life. So just to tell you, if you want any of that information, you guys know how to email me, ForbesRiley@gmail.com, or check me out on social media. Right now, let's come back to Ms. Holly Flick and Andrew Priestley, all the way from the UK. How about an influential book that had a powerful way to motivate you? Holly, what's one of yours?
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That is a gold standard. What's one big takeaway from that just lives with you?
The takeaway for me just reiterates the fact that you just need to be human. And that's what I put in my post on Instagram too today, about the idea that it all boils down to relating to people on a personal level. And when you can have a connection with somebody on a personal level, which means you're not distracted, right? You don't have an agenda. When you come to people, whether it's, when I was a, Fortune 200 corporate sales rep calling on Nike from, walking across the street with my kids as I'm taking them to school. It's all about just being a human and taking the time to relate to people. And I think that's lost on a lot of people now. We're just distracted. So I think that's key.
It's so funny. I love when people say to me, "Oh, Forbes, you're so authentic." I don't necessarily have a choice. This is kind of how I'm wired. I do somehow see people who are not. I had the honor of spending last weekend with Sarah Blakely, who could be the most authentic billionaire that you will ever meet. It's like unbelievable how she is just humble. And then she showed a video of her. Okay, and maybe I think we may be going a little bit too far, but she showed a video of her getting out of her beautiful car, but driving her son to school, and she's wearing her blue monkey pajamas. And I'm like, girl, you got me. Because a billionaire, and she's married to my friend Jesse Itzler. We're both all in a book together called Success Factor X. Hang out with good people. You know who's in that book, Andrew? It's me and Andrew. It's me and Jesse Itzler, Sarah Blakely, Mark Cuban, Tony Robbins, Don King, and 18 other amazing billionaire people. And it's a full color. It's one of my favorite books. Sarah's sister-in-law turns out to have just found me on LinkedIn. I'm the only person in the book whose name I didn't know. Anyway, she is getting out wearing her pajamas. And I thought, oh my God, that makes such total sense. I do the same thing. I didn't think to Instagram it, but what it means is I waited a long time to have my kids. Holly, I'm sure that you did too. Dan, you're an amazing grandfather. We could probably all afford to have the chauffeur, the maid, the friend, whoever, because I had a lot of stuff to do. But no, if you're going to choose to have little children, you should enjoy them. It is an enjoyable thing to drive to school, that it's just you and them talking. We used to sing songs. I remember I'm thinking, like, we're going to school's so cool. Like, we make up stupid. Those are my favorite moments, because I will tell you, now that my guys are 17, I feel them going away, and I loved on them so much. So if you are a parent like Sarah, just be there, just be authentic, be real, have fun. Money
goes too quick. Goes too quick.
Doesn't it though, Andrew? It goes crazy quick.
Yeah.
So Andrew, one of your favorite books, and why?
Well, I tell you what, this is one that's very close to my heart. How Will You Measure Your Life?
Okay.
And it's by Clayton Christensen, and sadly Clayton passed away just a couple of weeks back. He was in remission. He was a professor at, I think, Harvard or Stanford, one of those two. It's an absolute game-changing book. If you're talking about authenticity, this is about as authentic as it gets, but the science behind it is in plain language. It's well written, it's well researched, and every page is just a takeaway. But it's simple. He's condensed a lot of valuable information down to something.
You know,
that's
that
digestible.
Is one of the lessons that I was told many years ago by my father. He said, look, nobody ever on their deathbed wished they had taken one more meeting, made one more post, but to have people around you who love you and cherish you, that is what life is about.
Yeah, this is a beautiful book, but good for business people. You know, like years ago, Forbes, you know, like I wanted a 6-figure income and I wanted a lifestyle, right? And Holly, you relate to this with 4 kids, you know. So I'm working every hour that God sends me, right? And I'm arguing with my wife. I don't see my kids. And then I thought, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? I had a call. Can I tell you the story? It goes for about 2 minutes, yeah?
Make it 1 minute and 30. It's all yours. Go.
Done. I had a call from a client who said, come in. We want to do a big deal with you. And I said, great. He said, can you come in at 2? I was there at 2 o'clock. Nobody's there. I pick up the phone. Where are you? No, 2 a.m. Right? It was the entertainment industry, 2 a.m., right? It's the party starts at 2 a.m. I go home, I tell my wife, she says, you're an idiot. What are you doing? What are you doing? So I'm driving into the city. I went home, I said, you know those arguments you have with your better half, I'm going. I wanted to go and do this, right? And I'm driving across this long bridge, much like the bridge in Tampa. There's a big long bridge in Tampa, Florida, which just goes forever, right?
Yes.
Yeah, even Siri stops talking. It's so long, right? Anyway, so I'm on this bridge and I'm thinking, you know that moment when you're driving, I'm an idiot. So I did a U-turn on the bridge and I'm going home and I'm thinking, the money, what about the money? And then I did another U-turn and I'm going, and then, man, she's right. This is crazy. So I stopped, did another U-turn. I'm going back the other way again. Think about the money. Honest to God, if those security cameras saw it, they'd go, what the hell's this guy doing, right? I think I did about 7 U-turns. In the end, I pull over the side. It's 1:30 in the morning. I got out of the car. I was so frustrated, Forbes. I wept. I just wept for about 40 minutes because I was so conflicted about family money, this thing. I'm just going nuts here. I honestly wept my heart out. I didn't know what to do. And in the end, I said, I'm going home. So I got in the car and I went home, and a week later I shut that business down because I realized, I say to people all the time, are you running your business or is it running you?
Yeah.
If it's running you, you ain't doing it right. Right. So I went home and I thought at that point, it was my values crossroad moment. What do I really value here? So I decided, I want a 6-figure income and a lifestyle. I flipped it over and I said, I want a great lifestyle with a 6-figure income.
Oh, Holly, how does that relate to you?
I think, at every turn that relates to where we are. Like, that's a choice I make every single morning of whether I'm going to run a business or I'm a technician inside my business that lets it run me. Like that's key.
It is definitely, yes, it's definitely an argument. It's definitely a conversation. I do think though, in your value list, it's very important. I did a lot of this work and I will tell you, what I made one of my value lists obviously being significant has been a whole part of my life. And someone pointed out to me, the coach is like, well, your health is number 12 and you recently got sick and you should move your health up front and you should move your kids. And so I did, and I moved health up to 1, and it sometimes slips to 2 and 3. But I will tell you, I like being significant. And it's but here's what's interesting about that statement. It's a sacrifice, because I love influencing people a bit more than hanging out. And I love my family very much, but I will tell you, for me, it's a neck and neck thing. And Andrew, I probably would have turned back because I tend not to go to parties, and that's where things do happen. I shied away my whole life from having to push myself outside my envelope. My man's in the other room right now, and he just texted me. He's like, I need a kiss from you. Like, I know you do, but I'm right here and I'm committed. And I waited my whole life for him. I'd love to go
Don't
there
give
and
him a kiss. Come on, go and give him a kiss. He wants a kiss. Go on. We'll wait while you go and give him a kiss.
I love you. Hey, I want to bring another friend to the party.
Priorities. Listen to Holly. Holly's smart.
I know. Trust me, he's got lots of kisses. He deserves them. Hey,
look at you. You're saying I want to go for a kiss. Look at the body language. I want a kiss. Look.
Oh my God.
You guys are going to embarrass. I don't embarrass ever. And now I'm blushing.
I tell you what, you got the wrong guy on the program here. I'll just milk this one. I tell you.
You are going to milk it and I tell you what.
She's going to send him a kiss. How's that, right? I'm going to text you a kiss.
The emojis are not the same. We tell the kids the emojis are not the same.
Oh my God.
Yeah, kids do it real. Like go give me a kiss. Dogs never lie about love. That's two things I've learned.
That's who I'm going to kiss. Wouldn't you want to leave right now and go kiss him? You just go. No. Greg Justice is like, I go kiss him. I don't even know him, but I'm going to kiss him. All right. I'm bringing you
there, he got the kiss.
All right. I need to introduce you guys to somebody that I also love. We're talking about books. Greg, your timing is impeccable. Greg is a phenomenal publisher. He and I, along with Elaine Lalaine, are publishing his latest book on Jack LaLanne. He's going to tell you a little bit about that. So, Greg, very funny. Andrew, you hang up our book for a second. I love doing this, but hold it up for a second. I'm the forward in his book as well. And it's a sales genius book. We made it an international bestseller. So yay for Andrew. Greg, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Greg Justice, and I am here in beautiful Kansas City, right on the state line of Kansas and Missouri. And I have a publishing company called Scripter Publishing Group. But I come from the fitness space, and that's actually where Forbes and I met, was through the National Fitness Hall of Fame. Our mutual friend, Elaine Lalaine, and I are working on an amazing project about the legacy of the one and only legend, Jack LaLanne. And my very first mentor in the industry, the fitness industry, and certainly Forbes knows him as well, if not better than anyone. There's Jack, yes, indeed.
Those are my babies.
And they're not babies anymore. They're all grown up, aren't they?
Thank you.
But anyway, so we're thrilled to publish a book called Pride and Discipline, The Legacy of Jack LaLanne, which will launch in July of this year at the IDEA World Convention in Anaheim, California.
And I'm working very hard to be there. Elaine will be there. And I'm going to tell you, if you are a fan of the show, we talk about Forbes Factor being health, wealth, and happiness. Yes. Having all the money in the world is great. If you're sick or dead, it doesn't much matter. And if you are as healthy and fit as you can be, I have a lot of bodybuilders who can't afford their one-bedroom apartment. So part of that is melding that world. And I actually balance both sides of that. But I think we all do. I think most of us don't admit it, right?
Yes.
I mean, Greg, we're talking about one of our favorite books. What's one of your favorite books?
Start with Why.
Start with Why. I don't know that. Well, what is that?
That is a book that talks about a lot of people, when they go to a business, they actually don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. So this book is all about learning about your purpose, your why. And I've been so fortunate, having been in the fitness industry for 35 years, having started this publishing. There it is right there, Simon Sinek, brilliant author.
Holly, where's your copy?
I actually have it right here.
Right, I know what I'm getting for Christmas now. Thank you. All right.
In fact, I got to pull it
out.
I
don't have that one. I've seen it. I don't have it.
I know.
Yeah, Simon Sinek. It is it's perhaps my favorite book of all
So
time.
funny. Mine says start with Forbes. I don't know why it says
Forbes,
that.
that's a good place to start. But again, it's all about defining your purpose. And I've been fortunate to have found my purpose early in my career. I've owned my own business in fitness for 35 years, my publishing company for 3 years. And I've been able to navigate my ideal job. I get to do exactly what I want to do with whom I want to work with, and have been blessed to do that for over 3 decades now.
You know,
And-
that's so funny because somebody once said, you know, you should live every day like it's your last. If it was my last day, I'd be running around naked, having lots of sex, eating vanilla Haagen-Dazs ice cream. So this isn't my ideal job. You guys are nice, but we still have.
Well, I'm going to flip that 180 on you because I am in my ideal. I have created my ideal job.
I knew
And
you.
it's working with authors all around the world and helping them share their message with the world, because everyone should be living a life worth telling a story about, and we help them share that story with the world.
Holly, isn't he just such a great soul? Don't you just go, oh, I want to, you know, just kind of give him a big hug?
I'm sitting over here Googling your business right now. Like, wait,
I've got multiple businesses. So you'll find Scripter Publishing Group. You'll find AYC Health and Fitness, Kansas City's original personal training center, the National Corporate Fitness Institute, which is a global certifying body for fitness professionals. Again, I get to do exactly what I want to do and create impact for hopefully millions around the world that I'm able to work with and help them share their messages.
Andrew. Oh, wait, you have to turn on we can't hear you. Unmute, and I have 60 seconds. Did you unmute, Mr. Andrew?
I was just acknowledging this gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thumbs
great.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, Greg is awesome. The 3 of us are pretty amazing. Oh, the 3 of you guys are great. I'm just the host right now. We're going to go away. When we come back, I would like you to think about something you'd like to inspire my audience. My audience is entrepreneurs, is people who dream. I get a lot of people who want actionable tidbits. And so each one of you has achieved a level of success, living the life that you enjoy, your lifestyle. How can you truly, even to my engineers, they always love some of these comments, something that you go, this is my unique tip. Holly, I love what you said about original thoughts. So many speakers, so many people spout something they've heard before. And I don't mind that because it's not always the message, it's the messenger, it's the time that somebody cracks through. But I think each one of you has something very unique to offer, and we're going to find out more about that when we come back. My name is Forbes Riley, and you're listening to Forbes Factor. Don't go away. But we also continue right through the break.
All clear.
So,
Thank you.
Greg, I was actually going to say I was millennial Googling you, which means I pulled up Instagram and I was looking for you on Instagram. That's what I meant by Googling you.
Oh, okay. Now, did you do my Greg Justice page or my Scripter Publishing page?
I looked up your name because that's the first place I'm going to go to see if I can trust what you're saying about your businesses, right?
Very good. Very good. Well, it's funny. I just had a session, a Zoom call earlier today with our Instagram guru or whatever. And I'm just learning this whole beast that is.
And what did your
Instagram.
Instagram guru tell you?
Well, we're just starting to learn about stories. I think, in fact, you'll see that I posted a story today. Yeah. So I just have taken up American Ninja Warrior training because we've worked with 5 authors in American Ninja Warrior. And I'm a 60-year-old guy that started this 6 months ago. And I've been contacted by NBC Casting now 3 times about appearing on this year's show. So we'll see if I actually do it.
That would be, I'm looking at a photo of you flying through the air.
There we go, flying through the air.
That's what I was just pulling up. That's funny.
Well, I will tell you, look at you up there going, oh my God. So I've done flying trapeze and I highly recommend that.
Yes.
There's not a lot of, you don't need that kind of skill and strength to do that. That's very, very impressive.
Well, my nickname, they all have nicknames, and my nickname is Old Dog, New Trick Ninja.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm an old dog that's learned a new trick.
I
Is
love
very
it.
They look like they defy gravity, though. I don't get
Truly,
it.
yes. We were with 2 of the top ninjas in the world, really, Daniel Gill and Jonathan Horton
We're going to be coming back in about 30 seconds.
where we did a press junket with them up in Syracuse and had an amazing time.
There you go.
Well,
What, Andrew, what are we looking at there?
I couldn't
Lattes. I'm just feeling so ashamed here. You guys are doing really physical stuff, and I'm sitting in a cafe reading a book, having a latte.
Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
Okay, apparently we've taken this show to a whole new level. I've got an amazing panel of friends. I've got my entrepreneur and social media superstar, Ms. Holly Flick. I've got one of my co-authors and an amazing business coach, Andrew Priestley, and Greg Justice, who is a publisher, hanging out with me at the National Fitness Hall of Fame. But Greg just dropped a bomb, and he is now going to be a 60-year-old American ninja warrior. And all of us are sitting in our house going, oh God, really? I already do enough. Now I have to go fly through the air to compete. Greg, I've always looked at those guys, and it looks like gravity has no hold on them. What is one of the secrets, do you think, that the way they train, or is it their mentality, or what is it allows them to do that?
Well, like everything in life, whether it's success in business, success in weight loss, success in American Ninja Warrior, or athletics in general, everything starts with the 6 inches between your ears. So if you have the right mindset.
Well, that's the 6 inches they're always talking about?
That's 6 inches between the ears. That's the most important. And if you start with that, then the rest is a piece of cake.
Holly, if I can't fluster my guest, the show's not worth listening to.
Oh, honey, I have 4 kids. I know how it all works out. We're good.
Hey, I have one set of twins. I only had to do it once and I'm good. It's too time consuming. I got priorities. I got to get back to the job I love. But Greg, so when you say that though, so mindset, I'm not kidding here.
Yes.
What is the mindset when you're going to fly through the air? You're going to defy logic. I've watched them and my mind goes, no, I've done some of these things and I end up on the ground. So what do they train you to think about to execute these kind of moves?
So much of it, and again, with athletics in general, but with this, you have to visualize, because the first time you do something, and again, I started this training 6 months ago. Now, I have trained my whole life, but I have never done anything like this. And now I'm sitting there flying through the air, 6-foot gaps from one pole to another, trusting that my grip will maintain it, that I will still have skin on my hands the next day. And oftentimes I don't. In fact, I can show you a nice little torn skin right there.
American Ninja blisters.
Yeah, American Ninja blister. I'm sure that we got it from the same thing, right? From the flying through the airs and grabbing the bar. But the visualization part of it, being able to see it in your mind's eye, creating that loop, that success reel in your mind, visualizing it and then doing it. Because if you have one iota of a lack of confidence that you can do something, then you won't do it. So you have to believe, first of all, that you can do it. That's, the mindset part of it. You have to visualize it, create that success reel in your head, and then you actually have to do it. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't fallen flat on my back or flat on my face a few times, but that's just all part of the process. And it's, specificity of training, like we talk about in the fitness industry. The more you do something, the better you get at it. So I
will share that with you. So I was doing flying trapeze, and I highly recommend this. I've been doing that for decades. I started when I was a Club Med.
Great exercise.
Yeah, it's a very safe thing to do, but you get to push yourself. You get to climb up a tiny little ladder 40 feet in the air, stand on the edge of a tiny little thing with your hands out there, and you go.
Yes.
And I will tell you that I spent a lot of time. I hadn't thought about that till just now, but I would go to bed every night and I would think about what it would take to do that. I would videotape it, watch that, and envision it. And I'm going to tell you for a fact that if most business owners, most professionals, most entrepreneurs did exactly that for real, imagine standing on stage in front of 10,000 people. I did that at 10X. What does it feel like? And if you take a moment and believe, one of the biggest issues I find, and you guys can chime in here, is people do not believe big enough. We've got a book about this one. What does that say?
Well, I have done several books about the mind. I like wordplay. So mind over head chat, or this is the success, psychology of athletic success that I did with a 12-year NFL all-pro defensive end, a good friend of mine. I used to train the Kansas City Chiefs back in the 1980s. And we did a book on that. And one entire section is titled, You Gotta Believe. If you can see.
Oh, I love that. Holly, what's one thing that you dreamed that's come true in your life that you never believed possible?
There were days when I was in the hospital with my daughter who has pretty catastrophic seizures. And I was actually hiding a child in the bathroom, a nursing baby. You weren't allowed to have another kid with you, but I wasn't going to leave my kid. So we snuck my baby and it was just born and we hide it. And I remember sitting there at night and you're not sleeping because it's a hospital. Everything beeps all night long. And I'm laying there thinking, I'm never going to be able to work. And I know that sounds silly in that moment, but I get so much fulfillment from the things that I do professionally and the things that I did before I had kids. And all of that came crashing down when we had our kiddo, and it was all focused on making sure that she lived through the next, couple years of her life. But I remember laying there thinking, there's no way I can ever do both, because I have the value system of being with my kids and I have this specific issue that is very time consuming and it needed my attention. And I wanted to be doing this. This is what I wanted. And back then, like internet marketing, the whole thing wasn't like, you couldn't leave. You had to go leave the house. Your kids had to be with a nanny. So, that was one of the things I didn't believe possible. And here I am, right?
Andrew, what's a belief that you wanted to manifest, but didn't know if you could, that's actually come true?
Well, I think I've already touched on it, which was that I wanted to have a lifestyle that was based on my values where I was earning a six-figure income. And, Greg just mentioned about visualizing and seeing it. And so it's interesting when I talk to a lot of people, they talk about their dreams, but, my background's psychology, right? So I'm looking at people's eyes a lot when they're talking. And sometimes when people talk about a dream, they're not looking up. Think like you got a shelf in front of you, pictures, words, feelings. They're looking down here, which is where all your doubts are, right? So they don't actually see the thing that they're trying to get. So if you don't see it, it's going to be very hard for you to achieve anything. And when I say see it, it doesn't have to be a full-blown movie. It could just be a nanosecond picture in your mind of you going ninja through the air and it's a whatever, that's enough. But you've got to see it. I'm working with a guy at the moment who can't see the future, but he
Really?
always looks down.
Oh, that's interesting. And you do talk about the eyes a lot because they are definitely the window to the soul. When it's funny to watch somebody. Here's a great little exercise. If you want to prove that what Andrew's saying is true, ask somebody to remember the street they grew up on or the first dog's name, and they'll usually look up and to the left. And that's where you access that part of your brain. I love the brain work. I think that is where it all starts. So if you cannot actually visualize and see your future, you want to reach out to us because we've got a lot of mechanisms to help you live a life of your dreams. But I often tell people, and this shatters them, that you are exactly where you are right now because you are living your dream. What? Yeah, everything around you is something you actually dreamed. Somebody dreamed of a phone. Somebody dreamed of this book. I did, in fact. But this is the manifestation. And so if you go, wait, I don't like being here, dream bigger. It's free. It's easy. But I want to say it's simple, but it's not easy. Greg, what's one of your biggest dreams that have come true that you didn't think possible?
Well, starting with in high school, my guidance counselor said I was not college material. I went on to graduate on the president's list with a 4.0 GPA and proved them wrong when I started my personal training business. The top radio host in Kansas City said that this business would never work. I'd have to move to New York or California to make it work. But I saw it working, and 35 years later, we're stronger than ever. And so every time someone doubts me, as long as I don't doubt myself, it just doesn't matter.
I have a video on YouTube called The Meaning of No. I redefine the word to be never-ending opportunity because no used to crush me. And as I'm listening to the two very smart people who thought to put you down, you know what? You can't change people. What you can do is change yourself. Absolutely. So here's my theory on that. Gad, tell me I can't. That's my if you tell me I can, I'm not so good about it. You tell me I can't, man, I'm on a mission to prove you wrong.
Yep.
So I love getting no's. Yeah. We've got 5 minutes till the end of my show. Miss Holly, a thought that listeners can take away for the week that's positive and inspiring and personal.
You have things to say to people that the people need to hear. So make sure that you aren't drowning out your own thoughts with the mind chatter that Greg mentioned, which is what's inside you. But in our day and age, it's easy to get lost in the chatter around us too. So let's just make sure that we're allowing ourselves to think our original thoughts and get those out to the world.
What do you do when you get a little lost?
What's that?
What do you do personally when you get a little lost?
I put my phone in the other room or put it in my glove box in my car and come back in the house.
Okay, that's phenomenal. I'll tell you what, like I said, I've been hacked out of Facebook for a while. I'm liking the quiet time. I've been on a little bit, but it's nice not having to feel like you need to connect or one up. I'm going to tell you, I think social media maybe gotten the best of me and I didn't know it until it went away. Kind of like, yeah, it's a little like having a drinking problem. I didn't realize how bad it was until I went cold turkey. And I didn't even have withdrawals. I was like, you know what? I can't. So whatever, move on. It's interesting. Mr. Andrew, a word of wisdom for my audience.
Look, I tell you what, word of wisdom, watch this a couple of times because there were so many gems and nuggets thrown out on this show. But the thing that my takeaway from this is around, Holly mentioned, and you mentioned it too, Forbes, around authenticity, right? And, Holly gave you a recipe of 5 things. But underpinning that is trust yourself. Like I think you said, stop. Think original thoughts. Now you might think, well, I don't have original thoughts, but what is your take on something? And trust that you do have a take on something, and that there's an audience for that. Because a lot of times I'm working with people who believe you've got to have a personality bypass to make social media work. And that's not there's no traction or attraction in that. What works is what you're hearing from yourself, Forbes, from Greg. I mean, listen to that. There's immediate, I want to go get his book. I want to connect with the guy. Holly, same thing. Same with you, Forbes. It's magnetic when you show up real,
I didn't release my first couple of books. I actually just wrote them and put them in a drawer because I was so afraid that what I had to say was not worthy of reading.
Yeah. And yet it is. It is. And the amazing thing, Holly will tell you, that you can find your tribe, you can find your audience rapidly. You got how many? What did she say? 2.5 billion people on Facebook. Someone in there is going to resonate with you.
At least one.
Yeah, but show up real. Show up real.
Andrew, thank you for coming all the way over from I know it's late in the UK. I appreciate your time and your wisdom. You're an amazing coach and a great friend.
I'm going off for a cup of tea.
I'm sure you are. Mr. Greg, final closing words for the last minute of my show. Go.
Well, I think as much as anything, just as long as you're true to yourself, to thine own self be true, find and identify your purpose, something worth working toward, and you'll be just fine.
I love that. So you want to check out Mr. Greg Justice. Make sure we're going to be at the IDEA Convention in Anaheim in July. Very excited about that. Andrew and I have a new book. You want to hold that up one more time?
Sure do. Yeah.
There you go. It's called Sales Genius #2. I have another book on the shelves right now that's another Amazon bestseller called What Have You Forbes Lately? How to Manifest Your Dreams. And Holly, you are living that. Where can we find you?
At Hello Holly Flick on all platforms.
Hello, Holly Flick.
I'm connecting.
I know.
Holly and I are going to be best buds now. Same with Greg.
I got your 17 messages already. Just give me a minute.
All right,
50 Shades of Weird.
50 Shades of Weird. All right, that's the closing note for Forbes Riley's Forbes Factor of the Week. I know we guys tune in every week because you truly never know what's going to happen. I love getting your questions and comments. Please continue to email me. Get Sales Genius #2. I have my words of wisdom in there. But all of you, thank you very much. At the end of the day, you are truly the sum of the people around you. I've got phenomenal friends, great supporters. You've just met 3 of my very special dear friends, and I'll see you guys again right here on Voice America or on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever else you download this podcast, the radio show. Thank you for your loyalty. Ask me some questions at ForbesRiley@gmail.com. Let's stay in touch and up-level whatever you're up to. I'm here for you. Bye, you guys.
All clear.
Thank you guys so much.
This
nice
is so much
meeting
fun.
you, Greg, by the way.
Yeah, what's that?
Nice meeting you, sir.
Oh,
nice
nice to
hearing
meet
you.
you,
And
Andrew and
same with you, Holly. Lovely to connect with you
Yes.
guys.
Well, and
I gotta
yourself.
jump off because somebody wants a kiss. I'll text you guys all later.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.